Hello and welcome. I'm pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, to your online learning journey. In the world of hospitality, the front office is really the heart of it all. It's that first hello and it's that last goodbye. But how do you make sure every single one of those interactions is truly excellent? Well, today we're going to dive right into the art of measuring and elevating front office performance. It's all about moving from guesswork to greatness. In this quote right here, it really gets to the core of the problem. In our industry, just guessing isn't only risky, it's flat out bad for business. Relying on a gut feeling here or a casual observation there, it leads to inconsistent service, and that can sink a hotel's reputation practically overnight. So the challenge for us is pretty clear. How do we get away from these vague feelings and move toward objective, actionable insights? All right, so first up, let's talk about the world we're operating in. The front office is so much more than just a reception desk. You should think of it as the hotel's nerve center. It's where first impressions are made, and it's where guest loyalty is either won or lost. And this is exactly why we call it high stakes. If you don't have a clear, structured way to look at performance, service pretty much becomes a lottery. Think about it. One guest might have an absolutely fantastic check-in experience, while the very next person in line has a frustrating one. That kind of inconsistency, it is the single biggest threat to a hotel's brand, and it hits everything from your online reviews straight to your bottom line. So how do we stop playing that guessing game? Well, we start moving towards genuine insight. This next part is all about the tools we can use to get real clarity and give our teams a strategic direction. And I want to be clear, this isn't about catching people making mistakes, it's about lighting up the path to excellence for everyone. The main tool we use for this is something called a Key Performance Indicator, or KPI. The best way to think about a KPI is like a compass. It takes a huge, broad goal, like, say, let's improve guest satisfaction, and it turns it into a clear, measurable target that the team can actually aim for every single day. And just look at how specific we can get with these KPIs. We're not measuring some vague idea of good service. We are literally timing how fast we check people in. We are tracking guest ratings, point by point. We're measuring how quickly we respond to requests, and even how effectively we turn a complaint into a positive outcome. Every single one of these is a clear, objective signal of how we're really doing. This comparison just nails the difference. On one side, you've got that informal, subjective feeling a manager might have, like, check-ins felt kind of slow today. On the other side, you have objective, data-driven fact. Our average check-in time today was 4 minutes. See the power in that? It makes the whole process fair, it makes it transparent, and most importantly, it's consistent for every single person on the team. But, and this is a really big but, numbers alone, as powerful as they don't capture the whole story. A purely data-driven approach can totally miss the human element, which, let's be honest, is the very soul of hospitality. That's why we absolutely need a balanced evaluation. So let's play out a scenario. Imagine you have a team member who consistently hits a 95% guest satisfaction score. Now, on paper, that looks like outstanding performance, right? Any manager would be absolutely thrilled to see a number like that. But we have to stop and ask ourselves this really critical question. What if that amazing score comes at a cost? What if that employee is super efficient with guests, but maybe they aren't so collaborative with their own team? What if they're creating friction behind the desk? See, the number by itself just doesn't give you that crucial context. And this is exactly where the other side of the coin, qualitative evaluation, becomes so important. We also have to look at the things that are harder to count. An employee's professionalism, their willingness to jump in and help a colleague, their grace under pressure. These are the skills that truly define an exceptional hospitality professional. Okay, so how do you talk about this complete picture with your team? It all comes down to effective feedback. That's the real engine of growth. It has to be clear and specific. So not just, hey, good job, but I was really impressed by the empathy you showed when handling that difficult guest complaint. And you always focus on behavior, what someone did, not their personality. And maybe most important of all, it has to be supportive. The goal is always to build people up, never to tear them down. Now, when you get this evaluation system right, when it's both fair and balanced, it becomes so much more than just a measurement tool. It actually turns into a powerful source of motivation. So let's explore how that connection really works. Motivation is not some simple switch you can just flip on or off. As you can see from this chart, it's a real blend of different things. Of course, financial incentives are a piece of the pie. But look at everything else. Recognition for a job well done, genuine job satisfaction, and look at the biggest piece, personal growth. These are the things that drive real long-term engagement. And on top of that, let's remember that great hospitality is a team sport. It just is. So, by also looking at team-based metrics, like the department's overall guest satisfaction score, we build a culture where success is a shared responsibility. It sends a clear message that everyone is in this together, and it encourages people to support each other for a collective win. And that brings us right to our final section. When you manage to combine objective data with balanced feedback and thoughtful motivation, you're not just managing individuals anymore. What you're really doing is systematically building an entire culture of excellence. And the strategic impact of this is huge. A solid evaluation system lets you clearly see who your top performers are. That data then becomes incredibly valuable for succession planning because you're cultivating your next generation of leaders from within your own ranks. And what happens over time? You create this self-reinforcing culture where excellence isn't the goal, it becomes the standard. I have to emphasize this, though. None of this works without integrity from leadership. The entire system's credibility depends on leaders being fair, using data responsibly, and creating an environment of genuine trust. When your team truly believes in the process, they will fully invest in their own growth and development. It's that simple. So, I'll leave you with this final question to take with you. As you prepare for your careers in this incredible industry, you are the future leaders. How will you be the kind of leader who moves beyond just simple observation? How will you use real insight not just to measure performance, but to truly inspire a lasting culture of excellence? Thank you.